we here at Beyond the Square want to challenge what is taboo, show that people with disability have a sense of humor just like everybody else. I know, shock horror, right? We also want to use humor to highlight the discriminatory attitudes in mainstream society. Over 3 months we started on stage 1 of the Just a Bit Funny project and set out to find the funny. Comedian and filmmaker, Craig Anderson, interviewed people from all across Sydney who identified as having disability, about the funny, frustrating and embarrassing incidents that leave us saying, all we can do is laugh.
I think the first line I ever said on stage was, thank you for coming out to support stand-up comedy, or as we people with cerebral palsy call it, stagger around comedy.
I'd say, give me 5 and I'll give you 3.
That's it.
Knock. Who's there?
Bear.
Bear who?
Bear bum.
You roll into a shop and you literally see the shop assistants go every which way to stay out of your way.
Yeah, have you got more?
There are 2 men and they walk into a bar.
Yeah.
And they come out drunk.
Oh.
That's the whole joke.
I've got disability parking and I love it because I don't have to pay anything.
Yes. All right.
So
what are you saying? Sucked into everyone else, or?
yes.
She asked me whether I hung out with other people with cerebral palsy. She thought there was some sort of cerebral palsy club.
Like, have you ever been abused because someone thought you weren't disabled enough?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When I remind her of that story, she goes bright red. And
there was one guy in the brain injury unit that complained because he thought he was on a cruise and was really annoyed at the service that he was getting in the brain injury unit because he thought he was on like Festa, the fun ship or whatever.
Everyone has different things they find funny, whether it is the absurd, or things that are out of context, or physical portrayals of difference and awkwardness. Some of these things are culturally acceptable and reinforced, and others are just personal taste and often down to individual experience.
What makes me laugh?
I like the everyday.
I don't know what funny is, but I know it when I see it.
I love comedy because comedy is really funny.
Yeah.
And I am into comedy.
Some things that you don't even think that are funny at the time, but when you look back on them, you've got to laugh, because if you don't laugh, then you get angry.
Stupid things.
Some mothers do better. Mother and son.
Get Smart. You remember that show? That's a funny show.
Kramer was going out with a very attractive woman who was a wheelchair user, who after the 3rd day dumped him, and he was dumbfounded. She dumped me?
Tripping over.
Comedy is about the underdog. You laugh at the, like you say, you laugh at the idiot, but the skill is that the idiot has to make the audience sympathise with them.
Well, I think Hoonge is, because Hoonge is the dog, and he's a witness to a crime.
The dog is a witness to a crime?
Yes.
Dare I say it? Nylon Parkers are funny. They're amusing. I love the feel. Somehow I see character in Parkers. It's really weird, but then again, I'm a very weird person, but in a good sense.
And that's in the movie Turner and Hooch?
Yes.
Right. But when you do your impersonations for people,
Yes.
yeah, do they laugh?
No, they don't laugh.
Do you know it could be considered funny by other people?
It takes, like it takes other people to kind of warm to it, or to, kind of get the gist of it and all this sort of stuff. But see, I kind of think to myself, if I see somebody that I know that has an Nylon Parker, it's like, I often ask myself, gee, I wonder if they realise how nice their Parkers are. And things like that, or it's weird, I know.
Look, when I see some comedians, they might say, I'm going to do an impersonation of Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah?
No, that I can do. I can do the voice.
All right. Can you say get to the chopper?
I'm in the chopper.
Yeah.
I am in the chopper.
Okay. I think the line might be get to the chopper.
Get into the chopper. Get in the chopper.
Okay. Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
What-
Get to the chopper.
Okay. Can you say I'll be back?
I'll be back.
That's good.
A la vista, baby.
What?
A la vista, baby.
I think it could be hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Okay.
There are things that we are taught not to laugh at, or things that are seen as politically incorrect to find funny. But often humor is used to combat the tragedies and disabilities we face in life. There is an old quote that says comedy is just tragedy plus time, and I think you will soon realize a lot of the stories we hear in this segment will prove that to be true.
If they laugh at me when I'm in a conversation and I get interrupted,
Yes.
entertained, they laugh because I tend to stammer and stutter. They laugh at that, and I don't find it funny.
I'm somebody with reasonably thick skin.
Yeah.
I, don't get too upset about anything. Otherwise, I wouldn't leave the house in the morning.
Do you think it's a good rule then to not laugh at something that someone can't control?
Yes.
Because you can't control your stammering.
No, I can't.
And if I laughed at it, you would be offended.
Yes.
It would be not nice.
Yes.
That's a good rule.
Thank you.
Do you think that would be a good rule for everything, perhaps?
For everyone, yes.
Right.
For my benefit.
No, I think we should laugh at absolutely everything. I don't think anything should be sort of quarantined from laughter. I think laughter is a wonderful thing.
Do you agree with that?
And not if it hurts anyone. Sure. No, absolutely.
Just a few weeks ago, I was the MC at a comedy show, and it wasn't me, but one of the other comedians did a joke that involved cancer. And in the audience, this lady, she sort of screamed out, "Don't you know cancer's not funny?" and stormed out in tears.
I tripped over my hand. I broke my hand.
Sorry. And that made you laugh?
No, that made me cry for a while. It was really painful. But after a while, yeah, I met the hottest doctor ever.
Wandered into the props of a plane and lost.
Oh no!
I lost an arm back in the 80s. Well, there are some forms of humour that pop out a day or two after that, and somebody will say, "Well, that's a little too soon." Well, yeah, I was finding that a lot of my humour was a little too soon for a lot of people.
You kind of just have to take things a little bit less serious. Like I was like, really struggling to remember, and my mom was like, "Oh my God, you think you had a brain injury or something?"
And because I wasn't hanging out with other Crips anymore, other wheelies in particular, you might have some darker observations that once you share them and you got a funny look from other people, you go, maybe that's something that I better keep for when I'm in those environments again.
So say someone's in a wheelchair.
Now, I wouldn't laugh at them
Why?
because it's part of the disability.
Okay, but what if they're in a wheelchair and they were doing funny things for you to laugh at?
Then I would laugh at them.
You would laugh at them.
So I've never been in a darker environment than rehab. There's a lot of stuff on the inside that's very politically incorrect.
When you're in company of with people who have disabilities, and there is a shared humour, it really reinforces the humanity of everybody around, and completely overrides any sense of disability that there might be.
We all know how important having a sense of humor is in dealing with the stresses of daily life. But when you have a disability, it is even more crucial in coping with the mundane, because we face many ridiculous scenarios and challenges.
They see me walking on stage, I'm well aware that every person in the audience is going, what's wrong with that guy? Why does he walk like that? And it's one of the first things that I have to address, because otherwise people aren't going to be laughing, they're going to be wondering what's wrong with me.
I laugh at myself.
It's always good to just, divvy something up with humour and lightheartedness.
I used to be very paranoid when I used to get on trains and things like that. I swear that people were laughing at me. But it just turned out that I had schizophrenia.
People like me get bullied, and I just thought, no one's going to bully me if I can make them laugh.
If we see the funny side of things, and if I can help Georgia see the funny side of things, and she does the same for me, we get over our problems a lot better.
And you want to make sure that people are engaging and listening to what the work's about, and humour's a great way to break through some of that.
I have cerebral palsy, and when you have cerebral palsy, you get a lot of different reactions from people. Like, for instance, when I first meet women, they say to me, "How did you get into my bedroom?"
I was over in the US quite a few years ago now. I kept talking about the fact that in Australia, people with disability are given electric chairs, and all of a sudden I could see some quite serious looks on people's faces, and I realised I was in the southern states where the electric chair is given quite often. And ever since then, I changed my use of the words to, I'm now a power wheelchair user.
I use comedy because sometimes people don't know how to take it. They don't know how to be if you say you got a disability, and you've got to say, you got to be that. You don't have to become all, oh my god, I better not say that, or it's like, dude, I'm still human. I'm not,
I think people don't expect you to be able to laugh at yourself.
I use humour with my disabilities as a kind of like a coping sort of mechanism.
Do you think you know when someone's laughing to be polite?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
I was trying to be funny. I was like trying to get the guy's attention. I can't remember exactly what I was doing, but I was kind of using my disability to try and get some attention. And anyway, one of the older guys, he kind of dragged me. Well, he didn't drag me. He pulled me aside and said, "Rob, you're making yourself look stupid. Your behaviour is not. Look, they're not laughing with you; they're laughing at you."
Okay, I'm going to do two different laughs.
Okay.
You tell me if I'm being polite or if I'm laughing for real.
All right.
Okay. This is for no. You tell me which one. He's number one.
Yes. That's real.
Okay. Number two.
Yes. That's polite.
That's being polite. All right. Very good.
Just 1 minute laughing or smiling, you'll feel better. No, I think it's true.
People with disability are prone to being snickered at, or called names to give other people a laugh. Every time I go out in public, I have to brace myself to be talked to like I have no intelligence. I am not inspirational though. I'm just trying to live my life the best way I know how, that is, with a good sense of humour, well, a great sense of humour, if you ask me.
Well, people can talk down to Georgia, and they can also put on a special voice. Me.
Good things come out of. No, bad things come out of. No, good things comes out of bad things.
Kids, if you happen to find 2 fingers, probably the chances are they're probably mine. So.
This This one man said to another man, don't look at me, I just got here first.
Hang on.
That's a joke.
Kind of.
This one man
Yes.
said to another man, no, forget it. This
That's
one
it.
man said to another man,
Yeah.
don't ask me, I'm just standing there.
See, that's kind of like you've started a joke and then someone comes in to find out about the joke and they don't know what the joke is.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that the joke?
Yes.
Okay.
Why ask me? I'm just standing there.
But what is he asking? It's kind of like a paradox because no one has asked a question.
No.
Who are the men?
Who are the men?
No. Do you know Lucia Ball?
Yes.
The one who plays as Lucy
Yes.
in the Lucy show.
Yes.
She tells that joke.
She tells that joke.
She tells that joke.
Does someone come in and ask Lucy?
Well, she
question?
meets George Burns and she tells that joke.
With George Burns?
Yeah.
Does George Burns come in and say, "Hey Lucy, what am I doing here?"
No.
No. What does he say?
No.
What does George Burns say?
I have no idea. No.
Do you tell that joke to many people?
No. No, actually.
That's probably a good idea.